This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
I have vivid memory of watching LL Cool J perform at block parties. These are real things that I witnessed. I didn't know it was going to be a business. I'm just saying it was in my DNA.
Some people wait to be invited into the room. Well, Steve Stoute has never waited for anyone.
When I went into advertising, trying to take hip-hop culture, and I'm trying to bring it to brands.
Steve is a powerhouse music executive, marketing genius, CEO and founder who has worked with everyone from Jay-Z to big global brands. But it all started with one truth. Your background isn't baggage. It's the key to unlock everything you've been chasing.
The New York Times calls you the CEO that other CEOs turn to for advice.
You have to have a belief in yourself that's so maniacal that people think you're crazy. You're willing to put it all on the line.
What was the inflection point, do you think, where culture and business really clicked for you?
He's helped artists sell millions of records, built culture-defining companies, changed how brands talk to culture, and now he's here to show you how to achieve breakthrough success by leaning into exactly who you are.
When you think about all the success that you've had, what do you ultimately boil it all down to? I'm so happy to have you here. Just to contextualize it a bit for the audience, I want to understand what your core skill is. When you think about all the success that you've had, what do you ultimately boil it all down to?
I was always curious about things I didn't know and understand. I never let industries that were new intimidate me.
Mm-hmm.
So the truth was that what I seen growing up as a kid in Queens, Trinidadian immigrants, was that everything that we were doing, or everything that I seen happening over time would then somehow have this reverb effect and then get larger and larger and larger. And the only way to capitalize on that was to figure out how to get into those industries and get into those rooms in which you could make that big step change.
Mm-hmm.
But what took place was no one was able to get in those rooms. First, there was the first big obstacle. They were white people, white corporate CEOs, and they didn't give a shit about what you had to say. So how are you going to get in that room? So building relationships became a thing that you had to do because you had to figure out a way to get those people to understand your perspective. So you were forced to do things. And I'm talking about 20 years ago, not when it's in vogue today, because there's money behind the movement. So of course, you're going to get the cool white CEO who wants to know the cool young black person or Spanish, Latino, whatever it may be. I'm talking about when they were doing well on their own and you had to go in there and get them to truly understand. I know you're doing well, but you would do even better if you did this. That was a very hard thing to do back then. So you learned relationship skills as a result of it because you had to get into that room. So I would say that understanding and confident that I knew something that others didn't, and then putting relationship skills on top of it was the key difference for me. I know a lot of people who knew that we had something different, but they didn't have the relationship skills, so they would just end up arguing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to ever be that person who was sitting at a bar, fucked up, financially, saying, you know, I had that idea first. I know what that looks like. That person who had the idea, but because they could never convert that idea because they didn't take the relationship part or the relatability part or trying to figure out a way to bridge the gap, more serious, they got so caught up in their idea that it frustrated the shit out of them and kept them trapped. So the combination of understanding those two skill sets at a very young age, I would say, is what I did different.
And I guess there must have been a time when you were frustrated and you felt trapped. Like, was there ever a moment where you were frustrated by the start you had, where you come from, the fact that it wasn't a given for you? Like, how did you get past that? Because I think so many people feel like that.
I swear to you, Emma, I never felt trapped by
You
that.
didn't?
I actually would tell you I feel more trapped now, and we could talk about that. I never felt trapped back then. First of all, when you talk about African-American culture, or even let's talk about hip hop culture, Black people in America ascending was coming up during my time. You got to think about, whether it be Living Single or The Martin Show or Will Smith and hip hop, everything's going at the exact same time. And it's coming from ground zero. It's moving really fast, right? It's not like, so every time you had any sense of doubt, you didn't have to look too far to see something moving in the right direction.
Yes.
That looked like you and felt like you. And that was very important as a reminder that you were on the right step and in the right path. So it wasn't frustrating. Again, it could have been frustrating if I didn't open myself up to knowing, now I got to get to the relationships. Now I got to be able to get to the other side. All of the guys that were successful before me, whether it be the late, great Clarence Avant or Quincy Jones or Benny Medina, all of those guys that were successful and understood Black culture always had a counterpart, a Jewish counterpart for the most part, who understood them and was their partner, was almost like their segue into a larger financial opportunity, distribution, capitalization, those types of things that can help you do something. So all I had to do was like, what did those guys have? And there's a lot more of them. What did they have? And in my early relationships, Jimmy Iovine, Tommy Mottola, Peter Arnell in advertising, they were guys that I found along the way that helped me go further in my career. And you could look at my career and you could see who those people are. It's not like hard to tell.
Did you study those guys before you knew them?
No. Study them? No.
Because I do that. I do that all the time. I find out who's the tip at the top.
Big jobs. Here goes the study.
Yeah.
Who's the CEO of Sony Music? Oh, that's Tommy Mottola. Oh, who's the CEO of Interscope? Oh, that's Jimmy Iovine. You
knew them?
No. How I got to know them is a separate thing.
Okay.
But I didn't have to study them. The title and everything was right there. And it wasn't like a lot. It wasn't like fractured information like it is today, where there's 1,000 different options. There was five labels, and you got to call one of 5 guys. So am I good enough to beat everybody else at getting to one of those 5 guys? Yes, that's easy. No, so there was nothing to study.
I love that you say there's nothing to study. The New York Times calls you the CEO that other CEOs turn to for advice. And I wonder, does that even mean anything to you when you see a headline like that?
That's a fucking great question. Why'd you ask me that?
Well, I asked you because I feel like there's such a part of you there's so much self-assurance in you, right? You're like, no, I didn't study the guys. I'm like, I'm studying everything. I still feel like I'm studying to this day.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there is anything in you that goes, yeah, I love that. I love that adulation. I love to see headlines written about me like that. Or is that just like another headline?
I was shocked that the writer got away with writing that headline. I couldn't believe that was the headline, actually. To be honest with you, there's truth to that. Obviously, it's what I do for a living. It's what I've built a great living doing. But when I first read the headline, I was taken back by it. That the writer in the New York Times would write that as a headline, to be honest with you. That was my first take on it.
What were you do you feel embarrassed or what's the feeling? I want to understand that.
That's a bold headline. That's a bold headline.
Yeah, but it is the truth. I mean, it's New York Times. It's a proper journalist. It's not some random
So then,
influencer.
I'm trying to be humble about it. No, I wasn't surprised.
Good luck. Might be the first time in this interview or the last time in this interview.
No, I wasn't surprised. And they got the picture right too. The whole thing worked.
It was a great article, but it was very accurate.
And I was very proud of it.
It was a great summary, I think, of your career. And, when I think about you, I really want to understand. I mean, I know where you came from, but I'm trying to understand like the essence of you, the early experiences that shaped your understanding of the culture. Like, can you talk to me a little bit about what has made you so successful and that understanding of culture? Like, where does that come from?
I got a chance growing up in Queens in 1986 to see, you would love this. I mean, I have vivid memories, not blurry at all, vivid, of watching LL Cool J perform at block parties. I mean, watching a guy that looked just like that with the Kango on perform at a block party that you paid 25 cents to get in. I seen LL Cool J battle guys in the mall. Like when you look at kids in the mall in a circle.
How old
I seen
are you at
LL
this
Cool J,
point?
I seen it 16. Like I seen that, okay? I seen Run D when rap took off, and specifically in my neighborhood, the guys, they were big names and they had music videos, but they still lived in the neighborhood. They didn't make enough money to move. So they got the jewelry, the clothes, and the car, but still live
But they're right there.
right there. So you got a chance to see it
Yes,
and
it's
feel
fine.
it and be around it. That was very important. I mean, obviously you wish that they made more money to ascend and go further, and they should have got what they deserved earlier. But you also got a chance to feel it and know, oh shit, this could be you. So the success of those things and watching those things ascend were very important to me in shaping my perspective on this thing could really be big. Biz Markie performing in basements at a basement party. These are like real things that I seen and witnessed. And growing up in that neighborhood, within a 5-mile radius of where I lived, is Tribe Called Quest, Russell Simmons, Run DMC,
What a time.
LL Cool J. They all lived in this neighborhood. You know, I would go out to Long Island and you'd see EPMD at the mall, or the Fat Boys, Salt and Pepper. These were all real things within one area. I mean, honestly, within one area. So it's like when people grow up in Silicon Valley and they understand tech, obviously they're within an area in which there's nothing but tech entrepreneurs and visionaries of that idea there. In my neighborhood, I happen to be in a place in which hip hop reigned supreme and everything around it. The breakdancing, the streetwear, obviously the music and the production and the whole thing. And that was it shaped me. It gave me perspective on the power of culture. Now, I'm not saying that to say that I knew it would be a business, and I don't want anyone looking at this to say, oh, look how fortunate he was. He grew up there, so he knew it was going to be a business. I didn't know it was going to be a business. I'm just saying it was in my DNA. So then when ultimately the opportunity came and I was like, oh shit, I could put these two things together. If you fast forward to like, oh shit, you can make a G-Unit sneaker, you can make a Jay-Z sneaker, you could make a, you know, when it got to that stuff later, then I started to pull from those things. I didn't know that at the time.
So you were really destined for a career in music. You were, I think,
No.
an extremely, no? What do you mean no?
I thought that I was going to play sports, football. I thought I was going to make money in real estate. I was doing well in real estate. I invested the money in real estate to get into music. But again, I didn't know that was going to be the whole thing.
Where'd you get the money from to invest?
In real estate.
Yeah.
My mom let me, my mother let me money. She refinanced a house.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, she refinanced a house. My father was away, and he definitely didn't know she refinanced the house. And I'm never going to ask her how she got his signature. And she refinanced the house and lent me money.
She must have had a lot of faith in you.
And she took the money, and I took the money and I bought a property. And I ended up making money on that property shortly. And that was the seed money to get me going.
Do you remember how much you made?
Yeah, I made $45,000.
Oh, that's a lot of money back then.
Yeah, I made $45,000 when I was 19.
And you paid your mum back,
I paid my mom back, and I got going.
But for you, that was like a moment in time, right? How many years were you doing this with homes?
I was probably doing the mortgages for like 3 years, 3 to 4 years, and I took the money, and I started investing, and I found a producer, and that producer and I started a company, and we were trying to make tracks and shop our music. And the first real opportunity I had, there was a young, talented comedian who we developed a friendship early, and he was shooting a pilot and gave me the opportunity. And anyhow, long story short, it was Martin Lawrence. And the first thing that I was credited for doing was the Martin Lawrence theme song for his television show.
I want to talk to you about this kind of turning point in your career. So you grew up in Queens, you play some football. I'm making a very, very short story now. Mm-hmm. You get into real estate.
Yeah.
And let's just fast forward, because the things that people say about you, Steve, it's so crazy. I mean, I could sit here and just like blow up your head.
Tell
but
me.
people, I mean, first of all, Jay-Z describes you as the bridge. He says you're the bridge, the voice between hip hop and business. What does that mean in practice? Like, what do you actually do? How did you get that reputation?
Well, he was just talking about what I had spoken about earlier, like being able to develop relationships. When I was doing what I was doing, honestly, like, yes, I watched the Benny Medinas and the Quincy Jones and the, God bless, the, Clarence Avants and so many more build these relationships in corporate America, specifically in entertainment. I wanted to do it outside of entertainment as well. So when I went into advertising, whoa, now I'm trying to take hip hop culture and I'm trying to bring it to brands, and they don't even need this shit. They don't even need this shit. And they thinking it's guns and violence and problems. Trying to convince somebody to do something when they don't need it is extremely difficult. Like, if you need it, then it's like, okay, fine. Like, shit ain't working, so let's try this. But you got to remember, back at that time, when we're trying to sell Jay-Z sneakers or which is probably what he was referencing, but I also had so many big ideas and have so many big ideas that the brand is thinking, we don't really need, it's not like we need to use this thing to solve a problem. So why are we even engaging in the unknown? But my idea was, then I'm going to take the time to develop a relationship with you. Let me translate this for you so that you actually can see how this can be accretive to what your intentions are as well. This is not an alternative. This is actually something that works in accord with what you are currently doing. And that was hard, to learn the language, to learn the cadence, to learn what would work best. And a lot of times for me, the best way in was if that person had a teenager at home. Because if they had a teenager at home, if the CEO had a teenager at home, I had a shot. Because they would ask their child one thing, and if it came back right, then I'd get the return phone call.
Yeah. That's so true. I totally understand that so much. What was the inflection point, do you think, where culture and business really clicked for you?
The easiest way to market would be Men in Black. And Men in Black was interesting from a standpoint that, Will Smith's career as a musician had come to hit tough times. And I'd known Will for years because I worked with Kid and Play and Will Smith, and those were like the happy rappers. Yeah. Right? So like the
different
happy
vibe
rappers,
from where you came from.
So
maybe.
Kid and Play and Will Smith were the happy rappers. They were successful.
And acceptable.
Yeah,
right? To the wider culture.
They had movies, they had television shows. They were happy rappers. And the reason why they had television shows and movies is because they were safe.
Were they happy being happy rappers, by the way?
No.
No.
You know what the funniest thing was? Way. They both wanted to be the opposite. Yeah.
Of course.
They all wanted to be the other shit.
Dark.
Meanwhile, all the other guys are looking at, because back then that was selling out, right? Yeah. Being successful and selling out were closely assimilated. Like, oh, they're selling out. Look how successful they are. That's such a trash idea in hindsight. But it was a trash idea the entire time. So when Will Smith had hit, headwinds as an artist, there's DMX and Biggie and Nas and Wu-Tang and all this shit. And now he wants to come back or put out music. I knew his team, I knew him, and they entrusted me. I was at Sony, and we made the soundtrack for Men in Black. And Will Smith was so ice cold at that time. You think he's cold now? He was freezing back then.
Oh, he's cold now.
He's cold. He was so cold back then that on the hook for Men in Black is SWV. And they didn't even want to be in the video.
No. That's so crazy to think about, because I feel like that was like the heyday of Will.
They didn't want to even be in the music video.
Yeah, I mean.
That's how far apart. Well, his happiness and their credibility, they didn't want that to mix. So they wanted the check, but they didn't want the video.
So what does the unhappy happy rapper do with himself?
When he gets successful?
Yeah.
Oh, well, when the song becomes successful, Will goes on a run, right? Then we make out, then he gets jiggy with it, right? Like everybody would do. When you're happy, you get jiggy with it. Wouldn't you do that? So anyhow, that's funny. The glasses that he wore in the movie, in the music videos, took off. And when that moment took place, we at the record company were so successful because we sold 10 million Will Smith albums. And we didn't expect that to happen, obviously.
Fair.
And revive his career and have massive success. And I thank him for that. But I was interested in those glasses, man. I'm like, we're not eating off the glasses. How could we? And you know what's funny?
And you weren't getting paid off the glasses.
No.
No, the glasses were just in the movie. No one's getting paid.
How about this
What
one?
about Will?
How about Will got nothing. They were it was promotion. They paid the movie company something and the movie
Like
company.
product placement, baby face. Yeah. Nah.
So what happens is the whole thing takes off. And that honestly got me down the path of trying to figure out who did the product placement, who was the agency. I got close to the agency and I ended up leaving the music business and going to work with that agency.
So you then start Translation, the agency.
Yeah.
How do you go round to all of these artists and convince them that they need to then start thinking about themselves as a brand? Because it's early days for that.
It's early. You know what? And you can't watch a podcast without Jay-Z's name coming up anymore. But
let's do it. Come on. Let's talk about Jay.
But he was all in. He believed in me easily. Like he did it. He was wearing Nikes and then left and did like his own pair of Reeboks. And Reeboks were being shitted on. I mean, Biggie wrote a line, "You were a Reebok vandal. Now you wear Chanel sandals. I made you. Why would I play you?" I mean, he wrote those lines. I mean, they were like considered the worst.
Yeah.
And Jay said, "Nah, we're going to put S. Carter on these joints and we're going to go." And now listen.
Because he was getting a piece of that.
Yeah, but he believed in himself. Fuck what Biggie said about the Reebok Vandals and fuck what everybody, I'm going to change your opinion on these joints.
And he did.
And he did.
Because they were all, everyone was wearing them.
That's the reason, that's what led to Yeezys. Yeah. That's how, believe me.
That was the deal that changed the game.
That's how the Reebok got sold to Adidas. This is why the Yeezys got made. I know the whole story. Like, Pharrell would tell you, Pharrell won the CFDA award and said, I got to thank Steve Stoute. I put Pharrell in the thing with ice creams. That's when him and Nigo did the joint. We made ice cream sneakers. This is in 2004. This is crazy shit.
It's early.
Come on, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I followed your career. You were the one.
I'm saying that.
But you are credited for that. I feel like
I'm not saying it because I'm not credited for it. I'm not saying it. There's nothing I'm saying that I'm saying in this conversation for credit. I'm saying it because I want people to unpack the DNA of what an idea is, to feel comfortable breaking new ground. We have so much more to give if you can find the tension between what is culturally happening and what problem you can solve as a result of it. And there's so many more categories that could use our insight. And some of them we feel like, oh, we can't do that because the barrier entry is too high. How are we going to get into shapewear? Or how are we going to get into, like, oh, alcohol's taken. But I remember there was a time when there was no way you could get into alcohol. Alcohol, you crazy?
1,000,000%. Or alcohol? Soft drinks,
How alcohol, soft drinks, clothing.
We were like Diageo own it, Coca-Cola own it, Pernod Ricard own it. We can't do that.
There's so many different categories that we can actually go into and use our unique insight and bring ideas to the table. So I'm not saying this for any other reason, but I had those ideas back then. And there are young people that should have those ideas now, or people who are looking to break through in culture have those ideas now. But the most important thing is, are you an entrepreneur? And we should talk about that at some point.
I want to talk about it right now.
Are you an entrepreneur?
So how do people tell? Because let's be honest, right? I feel like where we are in the culture right now, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. A lot of people think they can start businesses. Yeah. I have an amazing...
Everyone can start a business.
Everybody thinks they can.
No. Let me tell you the truth. You're wrong about that.
Go on, tell me.
Everyone can start a business.
Well, they can start one.
Well, that's all I'm talking about.
Go on, keep going.
That's the end of the sentence.
That's it. You're just done. Everyone can start one.
Period.
So what does it take?
You know, one thing that's never changed in business is the need to stay close to your customers. Today, that means being everywhere they are, on Instagram, TikTok, or wherever the conversation is happening. With Shopify, I can do exactly that. Their integrations make it easy to connect with audiences in real time, creating loyalty and trust that lasts. I love that you don't need a full tech team to make it happen. Shopify brings everything together. Online sales, pop-ups, social channels, so that I can manage it all in one place. And whether it's an emerging brand or a household name like Skims or Good American, Shopify powers it all, making it simple to scale while staying authentic. Plus, their AI tools like Shopify Magic feel like having a team in your back pocket, helping write product descriptions, plan content, track trends, all without the chaos. If you want to meet your customers exactly where they are and grow your brand with ease, Shopify makes it seamless. Ready to build your own empire? Head to shopify.com/aspire and get started today.
Today's segment is brought to you by Bumble, the go-to dating app for finding love. You all know that I'm a big believer in building things that last, in business, in family, but especially in relationships. And the truth is, dating can feel totally overwhelming. That's why I've noticed so many of my friends and people in my circle turning to Bumble. They've been listening to their community and making changes that actually build trust. And with optional ID verification, you've got the added reassurance that their photos and their age are real too. So no catfish here. I keep hearing the same perspective. Bumble just feels more intentional now. Profiles highlight the things that you have in common right away. So it's easier to see if someone aligns with what actually matters to you. And I love that they've added the dating advice hub in the app. It's like having a dating expert in your pocket. It's a reminder that dating doesn't have to feel overwhelming. You can take your time, you can laugh at yourself and focus on what feels right for you. So if you've been thinking about the idea of finding love, maybe, just maybe, this is your sign. Bumble's making dating safer, more intentional, and honestly, so much more fun. And isn't that the whole point? Start your love story on Bumble. What is the difference between those that should and can start businesses, those that should and can perhaps take jobs, and how do people decipher that for themselves? Because I think that what you're talking to here is a lot of people that are ambitious. So how do you decide how to place that ambition? How do you know what type of person you are and where you should put your energies, your ambitious energy?
One of those things that I think is very important. I don't want one to feel like you can make a lot of money. You can do very well working at a company.
In this country, yes.
And not having the risk of getting fucked up, being broke. Make a good living, secure your family, and do well. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that shouldn't be looked at as negative, and that shouldn't be looked at as because you're not an entrepreneur, you did this thing that's less than. That's not true. Most entrepreneurs fail. Most entrepreneurs are fucked up. If you speak to Travis Kalanick, the guy who started Uber, failed and was back at his mom's house at 33 years old as a failed entrepreneur before he started Uber. He started Uber waiting for a taxi that didn't show up. That was like, fuck off. They probably thought he was a failure and they didn't want to stop him. But Travis will tell you that story. You got to be willing to do that, to be that fucked up. And you have to have a belief in yourself that's so maniacal that people think you're crazy. People ridicule you. They think you're bugging the fuck out. You know, you're willing to put it all on the line. And I can't tell you that unless you have a dream in your head that you can't get out of your head, that it's worth it. Unless you have something in your head that unless you pursue that thing, it won't get out of your head, I'm not sure it's worth it.
I love that framing. That's really important. Unless you've got something in your head that you otherwise can't get out of your head, it might not be worth it.
It might not be worth it.
That means that you are constantly thinking about something.
You have no choice.
And you don't have a choice.
You have no choice.
Because the rate of failure is high.
The
Let's
rate
be
of
honest.
failure, it doesn't make any sense. The math doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
The math doesn't work about being a successful entrepreneur and getting funded and growing and having a successful exit. It doesn't work. But if you can't get it out of your head, I understand. I couldn't get it out of my head. I didn't know. I knew I couldn't go to college. I knew I didn't want to do that.
Well, you tried and you tried and you tried.
I tried. And I wanted to make my parents happy. I knew I wanted to do that.
Is that what the driver was to try so many times?
You're a West Indian parent. You're a West Indian man. You gotta definitely gotta go to college.
Your parents got all the way here
You know
and you
what I'm
can't
saying?
even
Like,
make
you
it
gotta
to
go
college.
So I didn't want to let my parents down. So I let my parents down when I didn't go to college. But I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That word has started to get hot in the last 10, 15 years. I didn't know. The two words that got hot in the last 15 years, well, there's three words. One is entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is mentor,
Oh yeah, don't get me started.
right? The fact that people run around asking people to be their mentor is insane to me.
Okay, just pause there.
Why?
Wait a minute, we're coming.
I'm not
we are
pausing.
coming back. We're coming back. Wait a
We
minute.
don't have a commercial
you
break.
said entrepreneur.
There's no commercial break.
Entrepreneur. We're coming back. Entrepreneur, mentor. What's the other word?
Culture.
Culture. Okay,
Right.
we're coming back. Go back to the mentor bit. Why is it crazy that people run around asking for a mentor?
Why are you skipping? Why do you want to go to that one?
So I just want you to get in trouble. I'm going to ask you about work-life balance in a minute, so get ready. Tell me, why is it crazy that people run around asking, will you be my mentor?
Because I've never heard of that shit before. Somebody chose you. Somebody found something in you and decided, without saying it publicly, that they were going to take you under their wing. And then all of a sudden there was this transition that you were being mentored by them. There was not a transaction that said, can you be my mentor?
Yes.
Yes. I am your mentor.
You are anointed.
Art thou?
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck anyone's talking about. And when people say it, I'm like, what part of TikTok did I miss this on?
But tell me, you know why people are looking for mentors. So what do you tell them? I have a pretty, my thing is, don't ask for a mentor. Ask for questions. Don't come and ask me. If you've got my time and I'm in front of you, ask me a fucking question.
Can you be my mentor, please?
It happens all the time. So what do you tell people that are looking for a mentor?
When people, if somebody's looking for a mentor, I try to tell them this thing. Like, there's, obviously you want to be in proximity of success and people that you want to emulate, right? I talked about this a long time ago. If you find somebody that that is successful, emulate them and don't find any shame in that. There are people who are in this industry right now who emulate me, and it doesn't bother me. It bothers me if they don't give me credit for that,
Quite right,
or at least the acknowledgement of such. But you want but I do encourage, regardless of that feeling, that you emulate that person. It doesn't matter, because whatever makes you successful, wherever you can find it, borrow from it.
Yes. That's why I asked you if you studied
Nothing wrong
those
with
guys, because I feel like when you grow up how I grew
studied
up,
Quincy Clarence.
of course you did.
I studied Quincy.
Okay, so we wanted one generation before.
I thought you were asking me, was I studying
Jimmy
the guys I was,
fair. But you did study Clarence, you did study Quincy, you did, you were there looking at those guys, looking at their behaviors, looking at how they moved, and you were
I was studying Russell Simmons, Clarence Avant, Quincy Jones, anybody. There was the guy who took over Beatrice Foods, Lewis.
You said Peter Arnell when it came to advertising.
Who?
Did you say when it came to advertising,
No,
Peter?
there was a guy, Beatrice Foods, he happened to pass away, Reginald Lewis, I believe his name was. He had wrote a book, Why Do White Guys Have All the Fun? Should definitely read that book. He was like the first Black guy that was doing it gigantically on Wall Street. His last name was Lewis. But I would read about these guys, these gentlemen, and I would be constantly inspired by what they were doing. And even like Russell Simmons back in the day, you pull it from everywhere. And I don't give, some of it is shallow, and I don't care about that. Russell Simmons had a Cartier Panther on, and he's sitting on
a Panther.
Rolls
Interesting
Royce.
choice.
He's sitting on a Rolls Royce, and he takes the picture. And I'm looking at that photo, and I'm like, okay, the fact that he got that watch on, that Cartier joint on, and that Rolls Royce in the hood. I like that. At the same time, I like, you know, Mr. Lewis and what he's doing with Beatrice Foods on Wall Street. At the same time, I love what Clarence is doing between the business deals he's brokering for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and LA and Babyface.
But it's like self-mentoring. You're looking at these people and
I'm
taking
looking at
it.
all these people, the constellation of it. I'm pulling from all these different places. And then over time, I have met people and they have mentored me. I would tell you that Jimmy Iovine has been my mentor. He's given me years and still provides me advice. I've learned from other people. Jimmy Iovine has been my mentor. I didn't ask for that. I didn't know that we were doing that. I didn't realize that dance was happening until 10 years after the dance. Like shit. Every time I think of something, I'm in a jam, I think about what Jimmy said, you know, that kind of thing. But this idea that you can walk up to somebody and be like, can you be my mentor, is so fucking fake. Like this, you can't just microwave a fucking mentor, man. It's not like a popcorn button. Like
Somebody
these people
put
are
it
so
on a
crazy with this
t-shirt.
bullshit.
He said you can't just microwave a mentor. I do think that's really important takeaway because we have become, as a culture, obsessed with the idea of mentorship. And you're right. You can't manufacture those relationships.
You like, well,
they
you're
are
not
or they
mentoring
ain't.
me. Like, what are you talking about, man? You need to shut up and listen to what I'm saying about
Well, that's
that.
why I've got you here because you've got so
I'm not
many
talking
good
to you.
things to say. I know you're not talking to me, Steve. I know you've got to tell me to shut up on my own podcast later, maybe. I want to talk to you just about this. Again, you just talk about culture a lot. Why do you think it's like, talk to me about why it's something that is a buzzword and that you're like, it feels to me like you feel like the word is like overused or misused. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because what happened is it's turned into this ketchup. You could put it on anything.
Yeah.
Like, culture, culture, culture. And sometimes it's specifically meant to talk about Black culture. I wrote a book, The Tanning of America.
I read it.
You told me that.
New York Times bestseller. It was fabulous.
Thank you. And I wasn't speaking about, when I spoke about The Tanning of America, I was talking about a global understanding of culture. Something that shared values, something that had commonality, which is what culture is about. There's things that lead to culture, like rituals and nomenclature and language. And these things are all what shape culture. And the word is just being thrown around now with no true definition by most people. And the intent is just to say it in order to say, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's important. And I'm like, that word is so very acute at understanding a group of people and what those people share. Don't use that word so loosely, and don't use it on anything just because you can't find a better word. Work harder to pick your words more carefully, because that word culture has so much depth to it that sometimes when it's used frivolously, it bothers me. Go back to using authentic. Use that word. Remember that when you used to play around with that word? Fuck around with that some more.
I feel like
I got you.
Yeah, you're like, we're going back to authentic.
Right.
Please don't.
I know in your head right now. You're like, shit.
No.
He's just in my brain.
He's literally in my brain. But I feel like everything that you are so known for is being somebody that intrinsically understands the culture and has been able to decode or code it for brands. Like that is what you're known for. So I want to ask you, how do you remain so, what is my question? How do you continue to be that person? What is it that makes you so good at that?
I'm gonna tell you, the first thing, what I said about one of my strengths is my point of view, my personal point of view is really not important right now as it relates to what I do professionally. I am a vehicle and a vessel between what is happening and what needs to happen in corporate America. Okay? So whatever is happening out here, whatever is moving in emerging subculture, I need to understand it and be able to help translate that for Fortune 100 companies.
Yes.
That's my job. Whether I like the dance or like the clothing style or like the word or whatever, it's really not my perspective. In fact, I built United Masters. It's a music distribution company. We distribute hundreds of thousands of songs. It's not like I like all the songs. There are songs that I really do like. But most of the songs I can't tell you I have any affinity to. But what I do have an affinity to is helping those independent artists get their music out to the world.
Yes.
Right? And like that's how I feel about things. Young people are going to shape and define culture. That's what's going to happen. It's happened with my generation. It happened with your generation. It's going to happen with the next generation. We're never going to put Jack back in the box. That's what's going to happen. So trying to fight it like our parents did, like don't do that and no, and cut MTV off or whatever the thing was, it's not helpful. So how do I remain relevant in this trade, this exchange, is by removing myself.
Removing your opinion.
Removing my opinion.
So you don't got to like
facilitate.
it. You just got to understand
All
it.
I got to do is understand it and facilitate and hire well. That's what I do. I stay tight to understanding what my role is. As soon as you forget your role and you start thinking it's you,
you're in trouble.
You might as well just close the door, give him back the key, and go home.
That's a really, really precious understanding of what you do.
For some people, it depends on where you are on your cycle of an entrepreneur. Some people I just said that to may think I'm bugging. Where you are, you're like, shit, I get what the fuck he's saying.
No,
right
I fully get what you're saying.
That's not for everybody. That's not for everybody.
You know those weeks where everyone in the house catches something? One kid brings home the sniffles from school, and before you know it, the whole family's down for the count. As a working mum, that's my cold and flu season reality. Juggling deadlines, school drop-offs, and a mountain of tissues. And I'll be honest, those days can get messy. There's the constant chorus of, Mum, I need a tissue. Or worse, catching my youngest just like wiping her nose on her sleeve. I'm like, darling, please, no. That's what Kleenex lotion tissues are for. And that's when I realized how something so small can make such a big difference. Because Kleenex lotion tissues don't just get the job done, they get the job done while being so gentle. When everyone's noses are red and raw from constant wiping, these tissues actually help soothe and protect with ingredients like coconut oil and aloe. They're like a little moment of care, soft, moisturizing, and so much better than grabbing a paper towel or whatever napkins nearby. And honestly, Kleenex has become a staple around our house, not just for the sniffles. We use them for wiping little tears after a scraped knee, or even happy tears when we're all laughing at something ridiculous together. That's what I love. Kleenex lotion tissues are kind of like that quiet little helper in the background. They make those messy, tender moments a little softer, literally. So it doesn't matter if you're catching a cold or if you just need something that's kind to your skin. Kleenex lotion tissues have you covered. They're made with skin-loving ingredients, coconut oil and aloe for 3-in-1 benefits that help protect, soothe and moisturize. Because let's face it, life as a parent doesn't always go as planned. But when you have Kleenex, you're ready to face whatever comes next, from sniffles to surprises. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex lotion tissues, you can be prepared for them. For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex. I've always been inspired by women entrepreneurs, especially those who aren't just building businesses, but are changing the game. That's why I love Say. It's a woman-owned clean makeup brand that's all about high-performance formulas that actually improve your skin over time. For me, the Glowy Super Gel is a must-have. It's lightweight, it doesn't clog your pores, and it gives me that effortless lit from within glow. My go-to step for a no makeup look. On days I want a little bit more coverage, I reach for the Slip Tinted Moisturizer with SPF 35. It's sheer, dewy, and packed with hydrating, nourishing ingredients. So my skin looks radiant while being protected. And the Dew Blush, it blends like a dream, giving a buildable wash of color that's never streaky or patchy. Say makes beauty feel easy, chic, and intentional. A brand that truly reflects the vision and drive of the woman behind it. Find Say at Sephora.com and every Sephora store across the United States and Canada, and at sayhello.com.
I really want to talk to you about leadership style, because I feel like this is something that kind of fascinates me with people that have been successful in multiple different areas. You've said that your number one attribute is telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is such a sort of lost and forgotten skill now, because people want to people please and to be popular and to trend and to go viral. Like, we have to say, or people think they need to say things that people want to hear. What's the hardest truth when you start to think about like your clients and the people that you're around? I want to understand how you are able to do that, like to keep telling the truth and keep getting the clients. But I wonder if there's a particularly hard truth that you've had to tell that, you know, has led you to where you are today. Like, is there one big thing that you're like, this is what I do on a regular?
You're good. You're really good at this.
Thanks, dear.
One of the values that I have at the company is challenge and respect. So let's talk about leadership and then I'll get to the truth. Challenge and respect is one of these things where we have to be able to have a disagreement and get to the other side without you ever feeling disrespected in that process. And that's very hard to do.
Very hard to cultivate.
It's much easier to yell and get mad or leave. In fact, it's the reason why I just went back to a 4-day work week after all these years, and I was fighting with it, with not me fighting with it, but more with people in my company.
Sorry, from what to 4?
From 3 to 4.
From 3 to 4. Okay.
And I went back to it because what I realized is that
don't get me started.
People don't have confrontation on Zooms.
Nothing good ever happened on a Zoom.
Well, that's not true either.
Oh, Steve, come on.
Well,
when did a good idea come out of Zoom? When did someone go, you pointed at a box and you were like, yes, excellent.
They probably came up with Zoom on a conference call.
That was the last good idea that came out of Zoom.
Okay.
Fair.
But if you don't deal with conflict and confrontation, people in general do not like conflict.
Yeah.
So if you but businesses need conflict in order to grow. You need conflict. You need that tension. So if you don't put people in decisions that create conflict and you allow Zooms to be the way you communicate, I think you lose conflict resolution, which is going to help the company and help everybody. Okay. So that's challenge and respect, right? That has to be omnipresent within the way you conduct and do things. So when you talk about telling the truth, the hardest thing for me to do is find the person who's willing to hear the truth inside of a company. And that's usually the CEO, because they don't have a place to hide.
Yes.
The chief marketing officer, a lot of times, they can do that.
Skeet skirt,
right?
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
The CEO, the CFO, when you start getting into that realm of the company, more fact-based, they can handle the truth well. CMOs and performance marketing companies have to handle the truth as well. So I don't want to I don't want CMOs to get upset about this. But understanding that truth and finding someone who can hear that truth is a very important part of the process. So, because I'm talking to the company, right? So it's like, if it's me and you, we work at a company, we're employees or whatever, and we're arguing over what book to put here, we have to have direct conflict resolution. But when you're doing it with a company, you have to find who's the person within the company that can hear the truth, because you need that person to then do something and distribute that fact within the organization. So finding the person is probably the biggest job in corporate America. There was a second question you asked me to that.
Well, I want to understand, like, how do you see the truth? Like, because there's one thing being able to say it and tell it. How do you even see it and find it?
When you remove yourself, a lot of the great relationships that I have with artists, and I've been fortunate to work with some of the greatest artists in the world, producers and creatives overall, is because I would tell them the truth. And the thing that I realized, Emma, I don't give a fuck. Eminem, Nas, 50 Cent, Lady Gaga, you name the artist, I don't care who it is. Beyonce, this, that. Anytime you tell the great artist the truth, they want to hear it. It is such an odd thing. It's the artists that are not that talented that want to be lied to. The best of the best want the truth.
Yeah, I think the best people always want the
It's the
truth.
craziest thing.
I think the best employees want the truth.
So
the best husbands and wives want the
I'd
truth.
be saying it'd be leaving my mouth, and I'm like, shit, I hope it's gonna be like, and they're like, yo, I really respect you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh shit, word. I want you around more.
Yes.
If you can tell an artist or any creative the unvarnished truth with a rational fact behind it, with a real thing behind it, not just saying the wrong shit just to be, coming at it just to have a different point of view, but like not a hard take, but like really like I think you should look at it that way because da-da-da-da. And you're not running around asking for shit. So you're not incentivized to tell them the truth or not the truth or whatever. You're just giving it from the heart. You can develop long-lasting friendships that way.
And I wonder, how do you actually even create that culture internally? How do you create a culture of challenge and respect over just agreeing?
I can't tell you I'm there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Before this podcast started, I was in the back having a challenge and respect discussion that had this room bubbling. Because
they tell me.
You probably got word that Steve is bugging out.
They're just like, we're just going to give Steve a minute.
Yeah. They cut the air conditioner off.
Let's cool this guy down.
The challenge and respect thing, I'm not there yet. And I'm dealing with something that you asked me, did you feel trapped? Early in this conversation, you said, and I said, I feel more trapped now. I feel more trapped now because it's hard for me to tell somebody who is accustomed to this new day and age of how you work
softly.
The soft shit and all that type of shit. And, work from home and Zoom and all of that type of shit to have this type of conversation with me. But I also come to the conclusion that I'm not changing either. And this company is going to live and succeed based off of how I run it. So I have to find people who can work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm not changing. And that's just the way it is. These are the things that I believe in. And this may not be the place for you.
And that's fine, because not everywhere has to be for everybody.
Fine.
I think I've come to a very similar conclusion, and it isn't to say that one is right or one is wrong, but I think that workplace culture, especially when you're in a privately owned company, is down to whoever is leading that company.
Well,
you can
100%.
get on board or you can go. And I feel like it's very, very clear.
But again, and that should also not be disrespectful. Like, this is just not for you. It's cool. It's fine. I'm not wrong, because we can argue about anything. I could argue about anything. We could all argue about, should it be 3 days a week? Well, maybe 4 days a week is better. Or maybe we should do this. Or maybe you should talk to them that way. Or maybe bring massages in once a week for employee morale. I can make up a bunch of shit, okay? And it could be right. It's just not right for the culture of the company that I'm building. Like, you can go into people's house. You ever go into like a friend's house growing up, and they'll be arguing and shit, and it looks chaotic, but yet it's peaceful in that house. It's like everybody has their own version of the culture of their household.
Totally.
That may not work for your household, but it works well in that household.
I want to ask you 2 questions about leadership before we move on to this. The first one is specifically as it pertains to women, right? You are extremely successful, run multiple different companies. When you start to think about women in the workplace, right? Specifically female leaders, I want to understand if you feel like there are really big, obvious differences. And because you're somebody that gives a lot of advice, yes, I'm getting you into it, because you're someone who gives a lot of advice and you tell the truth, like, how are you feeling about female leaders in your company? Do you think that you treat them differently? Do you give different advice to women over men? I'm curious to hear from someone who's going to tell the truth.
What I feel, I'm going to talk about my company, and then I'll talk about the industry.
Yeah.
So.
Fine. I'll let you do that.
When I speak to a woman in my company, I don't see it any different than when I speak to any man in my company. And that's actually could be a problem. I don't round the edges. I don't see, the way I look at my business, I put the company in the middle, and we are all in service of that company. All of us. We all have a role and play of service to that company. And that's the only way I see it. So whether you're a man or a woman, my expectations doesn't change because you're white, black, or gender. It just doesn't, it doesn't, I don't feel that difference. I don't state that difference. Now, the person on the other side may want to hear some difference. They may want a softer tone, or they may want some, some understanding as a result of something. And I can't tell you that I do that. And there's pros and cons in that, I am sure. What I've realized when I look at the macro and I go to some of the great leaders and women that I've met in the industry is that I haven't seen much difference from them than men. So one of my very good friends is the Sunda, the CEO of
the Sunda Duckett.
The Sunda Duckett, right? If you speak to the Sunda, you would know who the fuck you're talking to, right? Like if you AI her voice and they put a man's voice behind it, you would think that you're getting fucking screamed at and broken down every 5 minutes because she's tough and her expectations are up here and she don't give a fuck about nothing but we got to get to the top. And like that sounds like a lot of men that I know, and it has that same kind of energy. But whether it be Kellen Kelly at AT&T, or I can go through the list of solid women leaders that I've met, they do not have any chill as a result of, because they're women, as it relates to the same expectations and results that they want as a man. Are they softer? Nah. No.
All right, work-life balance. This is one that, I feel like I am constantly in some kind of, conflict about just my thoughts and my feelings about this. And I'm curious, as somebody that employs hundreds and hundreds of people, that, has had businesses in this current business climate, has had businesses 20 years ago. Where do you stand on the whole work-life balance as a point of view, as an argument, as something that is like a requirement from staff right now?
I as an entrepreneur, I don't think that you have the luxury of coming up with that idea. I just, that's just like, you are hiring people. You're an independent company. You are hiring people. People are putting their kids in daycare and college and private schools, et cetera, based off of your leadership and their belief in you. And you're running around working on work-life balance when the company is at risk of putting these kids in their private schools at risk, or their college tuition at risk. I'm like, you have to afford work-life balance if you're the CEO of an entrepreneurial organization. In general, how I feel about it, let's say things are going well. Everything's going well, right? So we're Skims right now. Everything's going well. You can have work-life balance. I've seen you and your husband in Switzerland having a good time, walking up mountains and taking pictures and having a good time. Beautiful skies. You should do that. Things are going well. If the company was being fucked up and I seen you posting that, your phone would be ringing. I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You bugging? I would do that.
No, you actually would.
I would do that. Like,
you actually would go. Like, where are you
doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck is you doing right now?
And I would think that that's the right thing to do. Because you can't, again, when you are building, when you're starting out, when you're in those early days, you can't do that shit. Like, you can't. You can't go off to Europe and take a 4-week vacation. You can't.
I'm not answering my phone.
Like,
no. How do you feel? Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about auto reply on the?
No. If I see an out of office, my head explodes. In fact, do you know, I haven't written an out of office since maybe I was 24 years old.
I have no idea.
I'm 42.
I don't know where to program that on the thing. I don't even, out of office. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. But it's a mentality, right? But you know how we sound old as fuck. You sound like the people like whining about rock and roll or something. I don't know. Terrible.
I'm happy. I'm clearly older than you, and you're saying the same shit. So I actually feel younger.
Well, you are. You're officially in your early 40s right now. Listen, because I feel like people will be screaming at us. I understand what is the requirement of the way that we live, right? People do not want to be glued to their phones. They don't want the expectation that they have to answer, emails at 10.
They are glued to their phones. They are glued to their phones.
Well, that is something else. They are glued to their phones, but maybe it's for their own enjoyment. I think that we have to be extremely specific here. If you are an employer of a company, there is one thing. But if you want to start talking about being an entrepreneur, if you want to start talking about being a founder, if you want to be somebody that is truly ambitious, the idea that you can decouple extraordinary effort and extraordinary results is farcical. You're nuts. You cannot. You cannot have one without the other. And I think every founder I know, every entrepreneur that I know has a period of unbelievable grind, unbelievable graft, unbelievable hustle, wherever you come from, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't come on a 4-day work week, and it doesn't come not answering emails or the phone after a certain time. It doesn't matter. Man, woman, with kids, without, whichever industry you're in, it's just, that is what it is.
Listen, I agree with everything that you're saying. And I hope that anybody that is watching this who is looking for mentorship are willing to subscribe to these values. Because if you don't subscribe to these values, and read in between the lines of some of the things that we're saying and actually what we mean, right? It's an attitude, it's a mindset that's required to win. That if you're not all in on that, then you're just not gonna win. I don't give a fuck what it is. That's if there's any wisdom I can provide being somebody who's been doing this for a while, is that I've never seen anybody win long-term with shortcuts. And finding out that you're not successful and that your idea didn't work really late in life is terrible. Yeah. Like tricking yourself. I used to call it the Ponzi scheme of lying to yourself. Like you can lie to yourself for a really long time. But could you imagine when that lie runs out and now you're in your mid-50s?
Fuck that.
And you just found out that you were lying to yourself all these years? You're really not the person you said you were to yourself? And do you know that that's what most people do all the time? That's actually the normal course of life. Like you just keep lying. Because like once you lie to yourself and you start getting on that pattern of lying to yourself and believing this inflated version of the truth, and you lack self-awareness, that drug and the way you can rationalize that can take you so far, and you just keep putting off the pain. Just don't deal with it. You don't deal with it. You don't deal with it. It's that person's fault. You're the victim. It's over there. It's over there. Now you look up and now there's no place to run and you're 52.
Forget about it.
And I'm not saying forget about it.
I'm like, forget, I could never.
I could never. Yeah.
I could never.
There's nothing I love more than hearing about people's side hustles. You can host your home on Airbnb while you're gone, and it's such a practical way to earn a little extra money without it feeling like a full-time job. Just a few nights of hosting could help you cover travel costs or maybe even a nice meal on your next trip. It's simple, easy, and doesn't require constant attention. You just open up your space while you're away and let others enjoy it. So if you've got a trip coming up, whether it's for work, a family visit, or just a getaway, hosting really does feel like a smart, practical choice. Seriously, your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
Introducing new Eggo protein waffles. The same great Eggo taste people know and love, now with 20% of your daily protein in every serving. Protein never tasted this good. These waffles deliver an excellent source of complete protein with 10 grams per serving and are made with wholesome ingredients, fresh from the griddle. Perfect as part of a complete breakfast, Eggo protein waffles pair easily with fresh fruit, almond butter, or whatever is already in the kitchen. They offer a delicious way to start the day with irresistible taste families are looking for. When something tastes this good and delivers this much protein, no one can say no. Head to your local grocery store to fuel your morning with Eggo protein waffles and pancakes. Available at retailers nationwide.
You've probably heard it isn't what you say, it's how you say it. And I've realized that that's true not just in life, but how you move through it. You need to set an example, take the lead, and adapt to whatever comes your way. That's why I love the Range Rover Sport. It's a car that matches that mindset, blending power, poise, and performance. With its distinctly British design and exquisite interiors, it's immediately clear that this isn't just a car, it's a statement. Inside, you'll find innovations like the cabin air purification system and active noise cancellation, creating a level of comfort and control that feels effortless. And with 7 terrain modes and a choice of powerful engines, including a plug-in hybrid with an estimated range of 53 miles, the Range Rover Sport balances raw power with refinement. It's dynamic, agile, and truly instinctive, reflecting the way I like to drive and live. Build your Range Rover Sport at rangerover.com/US/sport.
I want to ask you this question. Is there a leadership lesson or a lesson more generally in business that you've learned the hard way?
Yeah. Sell externally, not internally.
Please expand.
Yeah. Like if you're a salesperson, you could actually sell yourself and sell the people on something that's an idea that's actually not necessarily the right way to do it. You believe in it so much, you sell it to your people and you sell it to yourself. And to untangle that when it doesn't work is hard because you've sold everybody on this idea. So it's fine to sell externally. Don't sell internally. The internal stuff has to be all, no frills, all truths, nothing inflated.
When have you done this? Give me an example.
Believing in an idea, believing in an idea longer than the actual idea was viable. Yeah. And I sold it to myself and I sold it to my people, yet it still wasn't an idea.
Yeah, fair. No, that makes total sense.
You've done it?
Oh, I might still be doing it. Who knows? It's a great piece of advice. I wanted to ask you, I want to talk to you a bit about money because people find it very difficult to talk about money. And I wonder if there is some advice, like financial advice that you wish you'd have had when you were 25 that you'd be happy to share.
You know, saving, the habit of saving money is important. The idea of saving money is important. So one of the things that I learned very early was, I forgot what it was. It was a life insurance account, but it was life insurance that had some bond effect connected to it. So, and it was like $200 a month. And I remember the guy saying, if you put $200 a month in 15 years, it's going to be, $250,000. I'll make up a number. But the number, whatever the number was, I was 21 years old, sounded like a big number to me. And I remember thinking, really? But he explained to me the idea of money being compounded. And obviously, the beneficiary of money compounding is time. And I did it because I was trying to get to that number at the end, that $250,000 number, whatever it was. And it was like 4 years ago that I stopped paying it. I was still paying $200 a month.
No, you were not.
Yeah.
No, you were not.
Through different business managers and all kinds of shit, there was still this thing.
There's $200 going.
It was $200 going out every month.
That's amazing.
And it was a significant sum of money. It was, it was upwards of $600,000. But I remember thinking like how serious I took that at that time. And it was a goal in my head.
Yeah.
Saving money early, it doesn't make a difference if it's a lot of money. Just the habit of saving money, anything consistently is important. It's no different than somebody saying, working out daily to lose weight or whatever. Saving money at a young age consistently, fuck the amount. Don't think of the amount at that moment as insignificant. What you're trying to do is create compounded effect over time.
Yeah.
That is a very important thing. Even if you're an entrepreneur, I don't care. This idea that you're an entrepreneur so you don't have to save money, don't believe that. Saving some money and having it there consistently, the habit of that muscle of that, I think is very important.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because it's really about frameworks or habits, as you say, because what that does, like when you start to think about compounding effects, they can apply to so many other things in your life. And it's teaching you that doing something with consistency and doing something repeatedly, it's like a muscle, right? Are there other places in your life where you have habits that are just second nature at this point?
Most of them are all work related.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, like it's a weekend and you're like this, you're scanning for a problem. Like you just
I completely know that feeling.
Yeah.
I'm like, everything's fine, so what's not fine?
Yeah. It's like you scan for a problem, like, and I know where to find the problem. I know the right question to ask. That's one of my things that I do that with. I guess sleep deprivation, I've learned how to do that well.
I heard that you only sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night.
It's the
That's
sleeping.
psycho.
I'm
Why?
not happy about that.
You shouldn't. That's not good for your longevity.
I'm not happy about that.
I'm just saying.
That sounds like I travel way too much and I don't sleep enough.
Are you not a good sleeper, or what is the thing? You don't need a lot of sleep, or you've just got so much happening and so much going on in your brain you can't sleep? Oh no, you got to change that. Quite frankly, you're too old for that.
It's probably true. I don't think I like sleeping. I actually don't think I like it.
Who doesn't like sleeping?
I don't like it. I just thought about that for the first time. I don't, if I'm tired, I want to sleep, but I don't look forward to sleeping.
Are you a good rester? Are you someone that just sits down and watches a good movie and can just chill it out?
No.
No, you're not a meditator.
Shut up. That sounds that sounds like a Zoom.
That's exactly. Yeah. All right, let's talk about legacy and the next generation, because there's going to be so many people here that want to understand why are you still working as hard as you're working? What do you want to be your legacy?
Well, I have a 20-year-old daughter, Sophia.
I met her.
Yeah, and she is at Columbia University.
Are you so proud when you say that?
I'm very proud of her.
You should be.
She's really smart. My legacy, it's important to me that I have a son, Pharaoh, and a daughter, Phoenix. And I want my children, obviously, to be something, to do something and continue to do things that they're proud of.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to me that my contribution to hip hop and the culture of hip hop is something that stands the test of time, because I feel like I put a lot in and I got a lot out of that relationship and everything that hip hop music has done for me and my family and its impact on the world. And that united masses and the companies that I build are something that when people look back in books one day and go man, something changed, and that I was there to make a shift, to put a dent in what was happening in the world. And the reason why that matters is because I've taken so much time away from my family.
Yeah.
At least we could say,
at least
we have that to show for it, because I could have done well financially without taking that much time away from my family.
It's very lovely that you say we.
Specifically to do the things that we're doing, the things that we're tackling are hard jobs. It's not like just trying to make some money. I could go out and do a couple of things to make money, but to build a company that was going against the major label record industry, or build an advertising company that didn't exist, that was focused on understanding where culture was going.
To change the game.
To change the game. And that kind of stuff, to me, that's beyond money. Look, even back in the day, when I first went and put money behind Carol's daughter to start that brand, to help Lisa Price and that company, we were the first African-American beauty brand in Sephora.
Crazy.
Like, there were none.
Crazy.
Like a black girl would go into Sephora
Nothing.
and start scratching her head looking for some fucking shampoo. That was right. And
yeah, she was walking out with nothing.
She was walking out
or
with
the
nothing.
wrong product.
Or it was like, I remember thinking like, how do you go? I used to try to think like, I'm gonna go to Carnival Cruise Lines. Like all these people go on these cruises and like, you wanna use all the shampoo that's right there. All that shit is fucking your shit up. The conditioner's fucked up.
You really thought this shit through. You really, really did. You got all the way to Carnival Cruises.
Everywhere you go, if you're a black woman, there's nothing convenient for you, including in Sephora, you know? And like doing those things to me are important. But again, it's like what we were talking about. What's the idea? What's the problem you're solving?
Yes.
And how are you gonna solve it? And is there an audience for it? All of the businesses that I've involved in, I'm proud to say that I've gone at it with that level of thought. You know, and they've all had varying degrees of success, but that was the level of thought that was into each one of those things.
You're incredibly thoughtful. They're hurrying me to rush up now, so you've got to do rapid fire quick. All right, this is a question that I missed for you, but I really wanted the answer. Who do you think is killing it right now at the intersection of business and culture? Who?
Who's killing it right now?
Who's killing it?
You guys are killing it.
Thank you.
The team at Skims is killing it. Who's killing it right now? There's about to be a whole nother new opportunity with all these streamers.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The streamers.
But who's killing it right now? Fuck. I would say, damn it, I don't want to just sound like that because you right here.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Shit. No, I would say, who else is killing it?
I mean, I don't know.
No, you guys are crushing
I
it.
do think the streamers.
The streamers that have a chance to kill it, all the guys in AI, that's not, I don't see that as culture.
No, I don't see it as culture,
tech.
is it?
No, it will get to that,
yeah.
but it's not there yet.
We're still all figuring it out.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
It's too early.
But
there's not an artist or someone that you look at like that and you're like, they have turned themselves into a business and a brand. And
Travis Scott is killing it.
Travis. Yeah.
Travis Scott is killing it. Pharrell is killing it. You guys are killing it.
Just stop there. That is perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take it. You put me next to Travis and Pharrell. I think that we'll all be very happy. This is a really random question, but I actually nearly texted you. What do you make of Cracker Barrel's rebrand?
I never fuck with the name. I haven't seen the rebrand.
You know this news, Steve Stoute. Don't pretend with me. What do you think about risk and audience? Like, give me your point of view on the premise of it.
Risk and audience?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have nothing to lose, I think you should go for it when you have nothing to lose like that. I think when your back's against the wall and you have nothing to lose, then going for it is the best available option. That's my risk analysis on Cracker Barrel.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Cold plunge.
Oh, you're a cold plunger.
You can't tell by my skin. It's not working.
You're so silly. That's so good. What's the last thing you do before you go to bed?
Think about what I have to do the next day. I scan the day. Scan the day.
Of course you do. What are you currently aspiring to?
Oh, man. All new stuff, man. I really want to see how far I can take this thing. This idea that there's this place where peace and ambition coalesce. I love that idea. Like this idea that you could really be at peace and be as ambitious as ever.
Oof. We need another podcast. Now, you right at the end, you say that?
You asked me that question.
Fucking annoying, this timing. What's a book that changed your life?
The Greatest Salesman in the World.
It's a great book. What is something that you valued when you were starting out that you no longer value?
Acceptance from others. other people, the acceptance of others. Like, yeah, I like Steve. That bullshit. People like whatever the fuck they, look at what's going on right now in the world. The people they just run around liking whoever's popular at the moment. Fuck them. But like that thing was a thing for me in the beginning. Like, people really don't like you because, and that shit used to affect me. Like, really? What did I do? And then as I got older, I realized I don't fucking like them. How about that part?
Fuck them.
How about that part, actually?
Yeah, fair enough. You end your emails with much respect, which I think is such a beautiful way to sign off an email. What does respect mean to you?
I respect your time. I respect your perspective. It really comes down to this idea that I want you to expect from me the idea of you should expect from me what I expect from you. This mutual exchange of a feeling towards the way we hold one another, the way we hold, the regard we have for one another. That's a very important thing to me. Because for years, and it's important, you'd respect people from afar, or you'd respect them without any concern of if they had respect for you. Well, I would do that because I wanted to be in their good wishes and be in their good graces. And I'd be like, I'd have this respect. And now I do it, I don't have that idea anymore. Obviously, it's not respect unless it's mutual respect. Yeah. There is no respect unless it's mutual respect. There's no way I can respect you if you don't respect me. That doesn't work, So the idea of much respect for everybody, it doesn't have to, it's for you, it's for you, it's for you, it's for you. It's this mutual exchange that's important to me that I want people to know that's sort of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I think it really shows. And, I respected you before I met you. I respect you even more now that I actually know you.
Well, I respect the shit out of you and I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much, Steve. Love you for today.
Nice.
Thanks for joining me on the Aspire podcast. For more strategies on how to build the life of your dreams, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.